Hello guys, today I'm going to talk about the biggest cyber attack happened in 2014 and it's SONY Hack. I must say there's an interesting story behind this scene. It's a movie, so that's gonna be awesome. So let's move into the explanation of this attack. First, we will look what happened to the Sony, who were responsible for the attack, how Sony got breached, and finally what happened next. Sony has blamed us, insisting it was extremely well prepared for conventional cybersecurity but faced the worst cyber attack in US history. So I'm gonna show you a video which has telecast by different news programs about this attack. Okay, let's move into that.
Drip, drip, drip. Damaging excerpts of data hacked from Sony Pictures continues to leak its way into the media.
The hack shut down the company's entire computer system, and according to the LA Times, employees were reduced to using old-fashioned pen and paper.
Computer attack on Sony Pictures Entertainment is far from over. The hackers took new movies like Fury and Annie and leaked them on the internet.
Private emails about big stars, including Angelina Jolie, have been made public. The embarrassing leaks unprecedented. And the big question now, how much could this cost a movie giant?
I mentioned that the attack was based on a movie. Okay, let's see this and talk about more about this attack. This is the movie based on this attack.
Reports quickly circulate that Sony is going to blame North Korea for organizing the hack because of The Interview, a comedy about assassinating its leader.
Okay, that's the movie. I think it's interesting one. So let's move into the next slide. What happened to the Sony? In 21st November, emails sent to the Sony XES asking for money. 24th November, Sony Pictures Entertainment hacked, named by Guardians of Peace (GOP). 27th November, information began to be leaked. 5 films dumped into the file sharing hubs. 5th December, employees asked to repudiate Sony. 7th December, North Korea denies all involvement. 8th December, GOP demand that the interview he pulled. December 19, FBI concludes that North Korea prepared attack. 21st December, North Korea threatened violence if US retaliates. 23rd December, Sony decided to release the interview. So these are the times and dates what did happen to the Sony. So let's move into the next slide. In late November 2014, Sony Pictures Entertainment was hacked by a group calling itself the Guardian of Peace. The hackers, who were widely believed to be working in the least some capacity with North Korea, stole huge amount of information of Sony's network. They leaked information to the journalists who wrote about embarrassing things Sony employees had said to each other. Then the hackers threatened to commit acts of terrorism against movie theater, demanding that Sony cancel the planned release of the interview. The comedy about 2 Americans who assassinate North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. The US government says it has strong evidence that North Korea was responsible for the attack, though the North Korean regime has denied it. When Sony Pictures employees got into the office on Monday, 24th November 2014, they discovered that their corporate network had been blocked and hacked. The attackers had taken terabytes of private data, deleted the original copies from Sony computers, and left the messages threatening to release the information if Sony didn't comply with the attackers' demand. Okay, let's move into the next slide. These are the most important information revealed by the US government and other agencies about the attack. Who were the responsible for the attack? These are the Guardian of Peace, the hacker organization. They are the responsible for the attack. They stole personal information of its employees, about 3,803, and a spreadsheet, likewise many other things. Okay, let's move into the next slide. According to the former Sony employee who posted on the Reddit, this is the message Sony employees saw on their screens on that Monday morning. Hacked by GOP. This is the warning. As you can see, we already warned you, and this is just a beginning. This is the small paragraph, but it's definitely get high valuable. We continue till our requests be met. Likewise, as you can see, there are some links they can prefer. This is the basic photo downloaded by internet. You can prefer more. Let's move into the website. Then the Sony network was down for days as administrators struggles to repair the damage. Staffers were reportedly forced to work on whiteboards to do their jobs. Then the leak started. Over the course of several weeks, the hackers posted several waves of files stolen from Sony computers. The hackers posted 5 Sony movies, unreleased one, to file sharing networks. They also leaked thousands of confidential documents, everything from private correspondence among Sony executives to salary and performance data about Sony employees. The password protected files were sent to journalists. This is the warning, as you can see. So let's move into the next slide. There are two theories about this cyber attack. First one is the normal one. So let's move into the second one. It's the important one. The other theory is that the Guardian Office is actually a group of hackers working for North Korea's Unit 121, the collection of skilled hackers who regularly hack into the network in South Korea and the US. There are no proven links here, but security researchers have examined malware that could have been used by Guardians of Peace. And there are similarities with North Korean hacking tactics. Okay, according to this paragraph, they believe the North Koreans the who hacked the system. So let's see what it happened. This is the Destover workflow diagram. Attacker insert some malware or Trojan horse to the system by a SMB port 445 to the system in the Sony. So this is the basic way. So let's move into the next slide for further explanation. Wiper command and control. This Trojan uses an encrypted config file embedded in the resource section that has several IP addresses, later used for CNC communication. This Trojan uses an encrypted config file that embedded into the resource section that has several IP addresses, later used for CNC communication. Once connectivity is established with the two servers, it initiates a 2-hour countdown at which time the infected machine will reboot. This is the code. As you can see, here is the Trojan Viper Trojan horse, name as the Viper. This is the code you can see. Let's move into the next slide. Viper switches. The Destover dropper installed and run LDOS raw disk drivers to evade NTFS security permissions and override disk data and the MBR itself. On the first run, it creates the backup and restore management. Windows BRM GMTSVC service added its own executable and set a startup iSwitch. It also drops several copies of itself and start each of them with a different switch. These are the switches and the descriptions. I mentioned few of these later. As you can see, let's move into the switches. Wiper switches. M switch, a commercial product of enabling raw access to the hard disk from the Windows. After 10 attempts to connect to one of the local systems, the process of wiping the hard drive began. D is a delete one, sends a string of A's into a loop to the LDOS driver requesting it to write directly to the hard disk. It deletes all files in the system except the files with the extension exe and dll. The malware is known to wipe out network drives. W is the most important one. It's a warning. This switch drops a decrypt from the resource section web server. It runs on the infected machine with the only purpose of showing the user this ransom message. This is down from the internet. This is the photo or screen that the Sony Pictures employees saw on the morning. So let's move into the next slide. Why mainly they suspect attack was done by North Koreans? As you can see, the language is Korean. This is the database they use. The language is Korean. The resource section of the main file shows that the language pack used was Korean. That's the main reason. Let's move into the next slide. The FBI reported that this Korean hacker is directly involved in this operation. This is adapted from FBI government page. So let's move into the next slide. If you want some more information, you can go to the slides and references below. So let's move into the left side. What happened next? These are some news published by some news programs about Obama and the Kim Jong-un and other FBI researchers, journalists about the attack. So let's move into the next slide.
The 2014 hack against Sony Pictures Entertainment. He's also alleged to have committed hacks against defense contractors, law enforcement, financial institutions, and he is also alleged to have been behind the WannaCry 2.0 ransomware.
I mentioned earlier it's about a movie, so this one is the head of the attack leader. So in the next slide we can find some memes and posts shared in Facebook and other social media. As you can see, this is the picture I most interested. He's Kim Jong-un watch his own movie. So thank you guys. This is the reference. If you want more information, you can go to these links. Thank you.